The sky was still, the air heavy with silence. No bird sang. No wind whispered. Just the faint sound of dirt being moved, barely audible beneath the ground. It started with a soft whimper. Then, a desperate gasp for air. She was buried. Alive. A young dog, barely a year old. Her fur once soft and golden, now matted with mud and blood. Someone had decided her life wasn't worth living. They wrapped her in a torn blanket, threw her in a shallow grave, and shoveled dirt over her fragile body. But they made one mistake. She was still breathing. This is the story of courage that refused to be crushed. A story of survival when all hope was supposed to be lost. A story of a girl with no name, who clawed her way back to life. That morning, Claire was walking along a quiet field trail just outside the city. She liked to take these walks after her night shifts, just her nature and her thoughts. Something about the soft hum of the earth helped her let go of the hospital's heavy silence. But this morning was different. Her foot caught a patch of disturbed soil. She paused. It was small, like something had been buried hastily. But what made her heart skip was the faint sound. A sound so soft, so impossible, it almost felt imagined. A muffled cry. Claire dropped to her knees, brushed the dirt with trembling hands. "No," she whispered, her chest tightening. "It can't be." She dug faster, her hands raw, until her fingers hit the rough edge of a blanket. Something moved beneath it. A paw. Claire screamed for help, but the field was empty. Her hands worked like machines, frantic, unstoppable. Dirt flew. Sweat dripped into her eyes. But she didn't care. There was a life beneath her, and she wouldn't let it slip away. Minutes passed. Then a nose appeared. Then the dog's eyes, blinded with mud, glazed with terror. But alive. The moment their eyes met, time stopped. Claire reached in, cradled the shaking body against her chest. "You're okay now," she whispered, her tears soaking into the filthy fur. "You're okay." The dog didn't bark, didn't growl. She simply shivered and buried her head against Claire's neck like a baby that had cried too long. Claire wrapped her jacket around the pup and ran. The animal clinic was 5 blocks away. Claire didn't stop. Not when people stared. Not when her lungs burned. Not even when she stumbled from exhaustion. She burst through the clinic doors. Emergency. She was buried alive. The vet, Dr. Ramos, rushed out. "Oh my God," he said, carefully lifting the limp dog from Claire's arms. "We need oxygen. Now." For the next hour, Claire watched through the glass window, hands trembling, jaw clenched, as the team fought to stabilize the tiny warrior. Broken ribs, internal bruising, dirt in the lungs, signs of blunt force trauma. She was beaten before they buried her, Dr. Ramos said quietly. This wasn't an accident. Claire's jaw tightened. Will she live? He looked back at the operating table. If she made it through being buried alive, she's got more fight in her than most. Claire didn't leave. Not that night. Not the next. She sat by the glass window, whispering through the barrier. "You made it this far. You can make it through this. Just hang on." The dog, whom Claire named Hope, stirred on the 3rd day. Just a twitch of the ear. Then a blink. Then a slow, shaky breath that didn't rattle like death. Claire cried like she hadn't in years. Hope survived. But her journey was far from over. The cruelty that left her in that grave had left scars, inside and out. Her body was healing, but her spirit was shattered. She flinched at every sound, cowered from every hand, and refused to eat unless Claire was near. Still, Claire didn't give up. Each day she visited, she sang to Hope softly, brushed her gently, read her stories from old children's books. And one night, just before lights out, Hope did something she hadn't done since she'd been pulled from the grave. She wagged her tail. Claire smiled, tears in her eyes. But just as things were looking better, the clinic was broken into. Hope was gone. To be continued in part 2. The clinic door swung open at sunrise, alarms still wailing softly in the background. Claire stood frozen, staring at the shattered glass, the scattered supplies, and the empty kennel where Hope had been resting just hours ago. Her legs almost gave out. "No, no, no, no." Dr. Ramos rushed to her side. "Claire, someone broke in around 4 a.m. Only a few meds were taken. But Hope is gone." Claire's chest tightened like it was being crushed. Who would take her? She's not even healthy. She's scared of everything. The vet's expression was grim. People don't always take animals for good reasons. That was all Claire needed to hear. She didn't go home. She didn't sleep. Instead, she printed missing posters with Hope's photo, taken just the day before when she'd finally raised her head without shaking. Her eyes, though tired, had a spark. Missing. Female pup. Recently rescued. Needs medical attention. Answers to the name Hope. Claire plastered them everywhere. Grocery stores. Light poles. Park fences. She stopped strangers, questioned dog walkers, posted to every rescue group and forum she could find. But days passed. No leads. No sightings. Every second without Hope felt like another betrayal. Like the universe had offered a miracle only to rip it away. Then a message. It came through a community Facebook group. A man in the South Side had seen someone dragging a dog that matched Hope's description. Limping, thin, and terrified, through an alley behind a shut-down warehouse. Claire's hands trembled as she replied. She didn't wait for backup. She just drove. The warehouse was dark, rusted, and forgotten by time. Its windows were boarded, its fences bent. Claire climbed through a gap and stepped inside. The air reeked of rot and damp wood. Trash littered the ground. Somewhere in the shadows, something moved. "Hope," she whispered, her voice breaking. Silence. She took another step. A faint whimper. Her heart pounded. "Hope, baby, it's me. Claire. I'm here. I'm taking you home." Then she saw her, curled in a corner behind a crate, trembling. Her body was thinner. Her fur was dull. But her eyes, those eyes that had once met Claire's from beneath the soil, looked up again, recognizing, reaching. Claire dropped to her knees. "I've got you now. No more pain. No more dark." Hope didn't move at first. Then slowly, painfully she stood. Her legs wobbled. Her ribs showed through her skin. But she took 2 steps, then 3, and fell into Claire's arms. Claire sobbed as she held her. "I'm sorry. I should have protected you. I swear I won't fail you again." Claire didn't go back to the clinic. She took Hope straight home. Her guest room turned into a healing space, warm blankets, soft lights, quiet music. Hope lay curled by Claire's bed, refusing to leave her side. Weeks passed. Hope regained weight slowly. The bruises faded. The trembles stopped. She learned that Claire's touch meant safety, not pain. That food would always come. That the dark held no more traps. But more than the body, it was the soul that needed healing. Every time a door slammed, Hope ran. Every time someone raised a hand to wave hello, she cowered. Claire knew she couldn't erase the past. But maybe, just maybe, she could rewrite the future. So she started walking with Hope every morning. Not in busy streets, but in quiet places. Fields. Forest paths. Places with birdsong instead of car horns. They walked in silence first. Then slowly, Claire talked. "You're stronger than anyone I know. You taught me what courage really looks like. You matter. Every part of you." Hope began to change. Each day, she walked a little farther, lifted her head a little higher. And one sunny morning, when a little girl passed by and reached out her hand, Hope didn't run. She licked the girl's fingers. Claire's eyes filled with tears. "She's a survivor," she told the girl's mother. "Buried alive. Stolen. Left to die. But she came back." "What's her name?" the girl asked. Claire looked down. Hope's tail was wagging again. "Hope," she whispered. But their peace didn't last. That afternoon, a black SUV stopped outside Claire's home. A man stepped out. He looked at Claire with cold eyes. "That dog, she's mine." To be continued in part 3. Claire stood frozen in the doorway, Hope tucked behind her legs. The man in the black SUV looked calm. Too calm. "You've made a mistake," Claire said, her voice steady but low. He smirked. "That dog. She's mine. You stole her." Claire's eyes narrowed. She was found buried alive. Abused. Beaten. "Are you saying you did that?" The man didn't flinch. "She was disobedient. I did what had to be done. She ran off. She's mine by law." Claire's hand balled into a fist at her side. Hope pressed tighter against her leg, trembling. "You'll need proof," Claire replied coldly. "And a warrant. Until then, get off my property." The man's eyes narrowed. "This isn't over." He turned and walked away, but Claire didn't move until the SUV disappeared around the corner. She locked the door and dropped to her knees beside Hope. "You're safe. I won't let him touch you again. Ever." The next morning, Claire called her lawyer. Then she called every animal rights group in the city. She posted Hope's story online, with photos, vet reports, even the burial site. It went viral within hours. People were horrified. Outraged. Thousands commented. Thousands shared. Donations poured in to support Hope's care and legal protection. By sunset, the man had a name and a criminal record. Animal abuse. Fines. 2 previous dogs missing. And now, under investigation. Claire handed everything to the authorities. 2 days later, they came to her door. He's been arrested, the officer told her. Thanks to your statement and the evidence. Claire collapsed into the chair with relief. Hope was safe. Months passed. Hope's transformation became a local legend. No longer the broken, frightened creature that clawed her way from death. She had grown strong, playful, confident. Claire took her to schools, hospitals, and shelters. Not just to share the story, but to bring comfort. Hope had become a symbol. For every creature that had been thrown away. For every soul who had to dig through darkness to find the light. She sat calmly beside children with trauma. She nuzzled war veterans with tears in their eyes. She walked beside elderly patients on their last days. Hope had healed, and now she was healing others. One rainy evening, Claire lit a candle and sat beside Hope on the porch. You know, she whispered, you saved me too. I thought I was just walking through that field that day. But maybe it was meant to happen. Hope rested her head on Claire's lap. The storm passed overhead, but inside their home, it was warm. Safe. That night, Claire posted one last update. Months ago, she was left for dead. Today, she brings life. To children, to the lonely, to me. Her name is Hope. And she taught me that even when you're buried by the world, you can still rise. Thank you, everyone, for believing in her. The post was shared across the world. The grave where she had once been buried, it's now a small garden. There's a plaque in the soil. Asterisk, Hope grew here. Asterisk. And beside it, a stone paw print. Because some stories begin in the darkest places, but the strongest ones always find the light. The end.